Hello and good evening. And of course, it's the Cigar Lounge. It's not a Cigar Lounge podcast tonight, but a Cigar Lounge review. And of course, you're normally used to me and Cigar Kurt, but tonight we've of course got our other brother, Grumpy Preacher, joining us. And tonight we're going to be smoking, of course, the CA Bones. And the CAO Bones, of course, was gifted to Kurt and gifted to Grumpy by Ricky Rodriguez. And of course, I got mine from GQ Tobacconist today. And you can also get it, of course, from Famous Smoke, which is one of our sponsors. But like I say, the guys got it, of course, from Ricky Rodriguez. So, of course, guys, what size is your cigar that you've got from Ricky? I know I've got, of course, the bigger one, which is the Toro, which is, of course, the big Huey. It is. So, of course, what size is your cigar and what's the name of your cigar?
We've got the Robusto size. It's a 5x54, otherwise known as a chicken foot.
The chicken foot.
That's right.
Leads into a good story, that does. Because if you've ever heard of the band Chicken Foot, it's a good band, of course. Sammy Hagar in that band. But don't you find the band it's a weird and unusual band? Because, of course, if people look at it, I know it doesn't really show up much on mine, but it's got the dominoes on it. So, of course, Kate, let's go with you. And, of course, why is it called the Bones? Why has it got a domino on it? And tell us about that, my brother.
Because that's a slang name for playing dominoes, or dominoes is bones. So they've got some dominoes on here. It's a black domino, and the dots on the dominoes. It's difficult to see them on the camera, but they're a gray. But they're there. You can see them. Good looking band. Got a nice chrome reflection on the writing and the outer edge. And as far as the chicken foot, that is when you come to a situation in dominoes where you've got a double, and then you can actually go off to the side on that and make a line in your dominoes that looks like a chicken foot.
So, Grump, do you play dominoes, my brother? You enjoy playing dominoes?
I haven't played actually probably since I was a kid. I mean, even though I know dominoes, seems to go with, the cigars and all, but that's a lot of your, your shop, your brick and mortar, your lounges. You'll find the domino tables and stuff like that. But I haven't really since a kid, man.
Yeah, me and Emily play dominoes, and of course with Amelia, but we don't use the dice when we play dominoes. I've been shown how to play dominoes here in England through my grandmother. Emily, of course, was shown by her grandfather. But let's go over, of course, the wrapper, the filler, and the binder. So, of course, for anyone that's wondering, the wrapper is Connecticut broadleaf, which, of course, it's up our street because we do enjoy a good Connecticut broadleaf. The binder is, of course, a Connecticut shade binder, which is weird when you think Connecticut shade for a binder. I haven't seen many cigars with that. The filler, of course, is Hungarian Jamstreen or something, and then a Hungarian Lal in Dendra, Nicaraguan, of course, Esteli, and then Dominican, Pilato Cubana. So basically, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 fillers in this cigar. You've got 4 fillers in it. And that's the makeup, of course, of the cigar. Now, of course, it is a medium to full cigar. So, you're going to get a medium ride to a full ride. I'm going to pair mine, of course, with a beer that's come from Menorca, which I've never had before. So that's what I'm pairing mine with. Guys, have you got anything that you're pairing yours with? Of course, Grumpy's probably got coffee. And Kate, what have you got, drink, my brother?
I got my usual Diet Mountain Dew.
It's a Diet Mountain Dew. Hey, nothing.
I do have a bib on standby.
So, of course, we're going to go now to the whole cut. So we're going to cut the cigar. Of course, we're going to tell you what smell we get off the wrapper. And then we're going to do a cold draw to see what we get. Then we're going to, of course, light it. And then we'll get through the cigar. So, Grumpy, what cut are you going with, my brother, on your cigar?
I did the V cut tonight.
Very nice. Very nice. Kurt, what cut are you going to be using, my brother?
I already cut mine. I use a straight guillotine cut using my perfect cut, which gives me a perfect cut every time. I love it.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm going to use my little gift that I've had. I know everyone's sick of eating it, but I've had a new cigar cutter that was issued, of course, at the Banos World Day event, and GQ Tobacconist, our sponsors, give me this, and it's a double guillotine, and I like using a double guillotine. So I'm going to cut my cup because the guys have already cut theirs. Nice, clean, straight through, and of course, straight away, you see, nice, clean, cut through, and the wrapper's not come away or anything. So, what are you getting, of course, off the smell of the wrapper? I'm getting like a sweetness, like a vanilla sweetness.
Very, very dark but sweet. Yeah, it's a dark but sweet.
For me,
very good.
I do get that sweetness. I got a little bit of a plum, and I gotta go with it. I gotta go with the floral bouquet. I'm getting a little bit of it. It's there.
Floor.
I wasn't going to do it.
A little bit of vague from, of course, the smell of. It is an open foot, of course, so a little bit of vague. Definitely that sweetness to it. But of course, anyway, let's get into lighting the cigar. So, of course, Grump, what are you going to be using, of course, to light yours? Single jet, triple jet, matches, cedar? What are you going to be lighting yours with, my brother?
I'm going to be using my gift. You can't see the West Tampa emblem on it, but that was given to me by the chef, Ricky. And that's what I'm going to be using.
And, of course, you can already see what I'm doing. I've got, of course, my free blade. Kate, what are you going to be lighting yours with, my brother?
I've got a triple flame jet.
Yep. Of course. Just making sure the cigar's totally lit. And it's in. So, of course, we'll have a couple of puffs on the cigar, see what we get, and then what we'll do, we'll be back as we get down, of course, in the first, coming near enough into the second. But so a couple of puffs on the cigar and see what you guys think. So, yeah.
Yeah, full disclosure, normally when I review a cigar, I like to smoke a couple of them. First time through, I can really sit and concentrate. And then the second time is when I actually do the review. This is the first time I'm ever smoking this cigar, so we'll see what we pick up.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I've smoked a couple of them, and I smoked them, of course, as soon as I knew they were on the market because I was excited to smoke the CEO. I didn't know at the time, of course, about Ricky Rodriguez being the blender of it. And, of course, him going then on to West Tampa, as you know, that you can check out, of course, on the Cigar Lynch podcast when we had him as a guest. But, you know what? Yeah, I think you're going to enjoy it. We've been a broadleaf anyway. I know you guys like broadleaf, like I like broadleaf. And I think you're going to be in for an interesting ride with it. I can't wait to see what tastes you're getting off it. So, Grump, I know we're only just coming into, but first couple of puffs, what are you getting off the first couple of puffs, my brother?
Well, first let me say, I don't know how yours looks or how Kurt's looks. I mean, yes, it's a very, very nice looking Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, but and it may just be me, but it don't look like it has the oil content of some of the other Connecticut broadleafs that we've had, that we've had the pleasure of smoking, it just doesn't. It's not as it don't have that oily sheen that some of them do. It looks a little drier, but it's
Yeah,
very nice. Uh, the initial fire up on it, uh, it's a little woody, little earthy. Um, and the retro hail is fairly mild in the beginning. It's fairly mild. It does have the woodiness. And it has I won't say some cedar trying to, but the main it's got some pepper in there. It's not a pepper bomb,
no,
not a pepper bomb by any means, but it has a very nice amount of pepper, and you'll get that on the early retro hell. It don't hurt, but you know
no.
it's there.
Yeah, and you know something, I've just got, of course, slight bit of pepper, that bit of wood, that sweetness is still there. I'm getting a little bit of sweetness.
Hmm.
I can't put my fingers on it. It smelled like vanilla from, of course, smelling the wrapper, but there's a sweetness there. So, Kate, what are you getting off your first couple of puffs into the cigar, my brother? What kind of taste are you getting, note wise?
Definitely the black pepper's there for me. A little bit of leather. I feel like it's a very robust cigar, like
Hmm.
very, very rich. I'm getting a little bit of cedar, and that sweetness for me, I'm going back to my mind takes me back to that plum. So just like a little plum sweetness, very slight though. Um, so I'm interested to see what's going to go. I'm probably going to have a little bit of a burn issue with me, and probably have to touch it up because I've got it. It's the middle of the summertime here, and it's almost 90 degrees, and so I got a fan about 25 feet away, but I do have some wind on me,
Yep,
so I'll probably have a little bit of burn issue, which I can, correct.
yep. So, what we're going to do, of course, we're going to get a little bit more into the cigar now. We're going to get down, coming into, of course, the main second, and then we'll be back, of course, with our notes. Of course, if we've got any more information about the cigar, we'll come back and give you some more information. But like I say, if you want to pick one up and you're in England, of course, you can pick one up from GQ. If you're in the States, of course, you can pick it up from Famous Smoke or any, of course, different shop. You might even be able to pick it up at a event that Ricky Rodriguez does. But if you want to check it out, like we say again, CAO Bones. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into the cigar and we'll be back. So, see you in a minute. So, of course, we're back. And, of course, that sign at the back, which, of course, looks like a squirrel, it means new age. So, of course, it's new age. And I think that's because CAO changed a lot over the years from how they started. Of course, when Ricky went there and he started making different cigars, of course, he made this one. Of course, he made the Amazon Basin. And Kurt and Grump, what other CAO cigars have you smoked that Ricky's made? So, Kurt, let's go with you first, my brother. What other cigars did Ricky blend that you've had a taste of?
I've smoked Flathead. The one I smoked was the black and silver label. I've smoked the Brazilian, the Pilon, and my favorite one that I've smoked so far is the Session. I really love that cigar.
Yeah. And Grump, you pretty much touched the same, haven't you? But I know you've also smoked some of the other CAO cigars. So, what other CAO cigars have you smoked that, of course, Kurt hasn't mentioned, my brother?
Um, I don't know if he mentioned the Italia
No, I did not. I
or
haven't smoked that.
the American or Americana.
Yeah.
That's the ones the little pin stripe of a
Yeah.
wrapper on it. Uh, and of course, then the same ones that Kurt mentioned because they were in that Rick's Pick pack that we got. So it was the Pilon, you know, and these good ones, So we had all those, and
Yeah.
like Kurt said, though, man, after being able to, in the flatheads, I've had the 660, and then we had that 554. the silver.
Yeah.
We had those, and I feel like there's something that I'm not thinking of, but I mean, that's my favorite right now. That CAO is my favorite go-tos. You know, to
Yep.
grab something. CAO
Oh, yeah.
right now is my favorite go-to, and like Kurt, man, when it comes, I'm hung on that Sessions.
Yep.
I just that thing right there, man, is just you can't hardly find words to describe that. You know, I ain't had a cigar like that in a long, long time, but that's a hit.
You know something? I've had, of course, the Bones. I haven't had the other ones that you mentioned, of course. I have, sorry. I've had the CEO, of course, Brasilia. That was nice. I enjoyed that. I've had, of course, the Mortal Coil. Now, like I said to you guys, with the Mortal Coil, the band wraps around the cigar, just like a coil. Take it off and he's springy. And you know something? I'd say with the Mortal Coil and this, the Bones, similar nuances that I'm getting, similar kind of nuances. And of course, I know I'm not all the way in. I'm just slowly getting into this cigar because, yeah, I picked the bigger size because the chicken foot wasn't available at the time. So, of course, I'm getting that wood still. That wood still dominant. It's still sitting there. On the retro, I'm still getting, of course, that pepper. There's still a bit of sweetness, but I can't say what the sweetness is. But now I'm getting a subtle chewy. And what I mean by a subtle chewy is like it grips on your tongue and grips on your palate. It's like a nut, like a chewy nut. I can't say what kind of nut flavour, but there is a subtle nuttiness that I'm getting. And yeah, you know what? I'm enjoying this so far. And of course, you can't beat sitting with your brothers and, of course, smoking a cigar. It's a shame we're not playing dominoes while we're smoking it, of course. And no doubt, Kate, you probably win that because you win poker normally. So, yeah. But
Ah.
what are you guys getting? Is of course now you're getting into the cigar. I know, Kate, you're a quicker smoker and you're getting down into the second. So what are you getting now? And then we'll go with, of course, what Grump's getting.
Yeah, I've got. I'm almost getting ready to get into the second third. I pretty much finished up that first third. Um, Initially, that pepper with me before was a black pepper, but it's toned down a little bit. It's more of a white pepper for me. Cedar. It's a little bit more earthy for me. Um, and when you say nuttiness, I can kind of taste that in there. What comes to mind is like an almond
Yeah.
nut in there. But it's very smooth. It's got some creaminess to it, and it's not a strong cigar. This is a straight up medium cigar for me, like a 5 on a 1 to 10 scale. You know, so straight up medium, very enjoyable, and I'm it's burning good, even though I got my fan going here. I've had a couple touch ups, but construction's good on it.
Yeah. And Grump, what about you, my brother?
Well, I've got your little bit of angle issues over here, and I have a hand going, but good lord, we could
Yep.
edit that out, I'm sure. But anyway, uh, good lord, the wood. Now the woodiness to it is still there,
Yep.
uh, but it's getting a little more earthy than it is woody, and I'm just about to come to the conclusion that sweetness that I'm getting is it's Kurt hit one of them when he said almond. It is
Yep.
kind of a little toasty almond, but it to me there's a little vanilla or something going on in there with that.
So, yeah.
And, you know,
That was that was the thing, of course, when we were, of course, smelling the wrapper, and I said to you, I could smell like a sweet vanilla. That sweetness is still there for me, but of course, I'm getting that nut. Now, I can't say whether or not it is like what Kurt said, that almond nut. But there still is a bit of sweetness, of course. There's still that bit of pepper. But
Yeah.
Grump, let me ask you, are you losing your woody then? Because you kept saying you got a woody. Now you're losing your woody. Is he gone soft, my brother?
Actually, no. I mean, it's this thing is. I'm like Kurt. It's a lot of flavor, but it's not overpowering. So I don't know that I would call it a full strength. Maybe full flavor. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got great, excellent flavor, but it's a smooth cigar. It don't seem to. It may make me a liar here later or whatever, but it just don't seem like something that's going to jump up and smack you in the face. It's pretty level right now. Now I'm getting a little more cedar coming into it. That's picking
Yes.
up some.
Yeah, and you
For
can
So
sure.
tell that it's a you can tell that's Connecticut broadleaf. It's got that distinct Connecticut broadleaf taste, that flavor profile that I enjoy so much. So
it
it's
does.
very nice.
Yeah. And the ash, like I say, ash is holding on, but it is very flaky. So I should imagine it's going to fall off very soon with how my cigar's going. There is a little bit of a burn, wonky line. But you know something? It is correcting it. So what we're going to do, we're going to carry on smoking down into the cigar, and we'll be back, and we'll tell you, of course, what we're getting as we get into the second, and then we'll get into the third, and then, of course, my favourite end, the business end. So we'll be back in a minute. So, of course, we're getting more into the cigar, and you know something? I'm enjoying it. It's not a bad cigar, but of course by CAO, and of course the blender that was the blender at the time. Of course, Ricky Rodriguez, and I think you know something. To go from CAO now, of course, with West Tampa, he definitely knows what he's doing. The guy does with blending cigars, and this is really nice. It's really up my street with, of course, the Connecticut broadleaf, and the guys have just been talking, of course, and the Polon, or however you pronounce it. I say Polon. And just looking at that band is a different band totally. And it tells you, of course, on the band, the wrapper, the filler, and of course the binder. And this is a nice band. Like we say, with of course the domino sticks out, of course, with the bones, the silver. Really nice band. But of course, good. What did you like? What did you like about the cigars that you had in Rick's Picks? I know, of course, this was in Rick's Picks. So, which one stood out to you in just looking at the bands? Which one stood out to you band wise in that Rick's Picks?
I like that session band. That orange on there is really cool. It's kind of a metallic orange. The Polone, that's like a whole different cigar, and it's hard to compare that cigar to any of these other ones because it's so different. And then the band is different as well. It's got the picture actually of how they lay out the tobacco in the circular,
Yep.
In the Polone when they're curing it. And then it's got that actually tells you each region it's what it's coming from. So that's a very informative band. The Flathead, I love those bands. Those are cool. If I had to compare this cigar to any of the ones that we received, the Brazilian, the Session, the Polone, and the Flathead, and then this one, I would say this is more along the lines of the Flathead for me. I like it better than the Brazilian, but I still like the Session better. I mean, this is a great cigar. I love it. And then this is kind of like when I think about this cigar, it's like an everyday cigar. It's not that expensive. This would be something that you could afford to smoke every day if you picked up a 5 or 10 pack or even a box. It's just a good everyday cigar to have, and I'm enjoying
it. You know something? Smoke output. It's got a bit of smoke to it on the output. But you know something? That pepper's kind of died down for me. That pepper's really died down. That earth is there. That nuttiness is still there and a little bit of sweetness, but that pepper, it's kind of died. But Grump, what did you like, of course, in the cigars that you got in Rick's Picks from Ricky? What did you like out of them?
Um, well, like I said, I had the Brasilia, Italia, and the Americana, but I hadn't had the Sessions. I'd always wanted to try it, and the Polon, hadn't had that one. Hadn't had this Bones. Uh, but still, uh, the like Kurt said, that Polon that's just something out there that's out there by itself. You know, you can't really put that against these others. It's just something all by itself. You have to experience it to understand that, I guess, if it don't make sense. But you know, some people say a cigar is a cigar, but you know, there's that too. But
Yep.
I mean, this is a good one, but you know, like Kurt said, this is more along the lines of that flathead 660 or that 554 flavor wise, profile wise, and all that.
Yep.
So Sessions is still on top since we got all those. It was Brasilia was my favorite until we got that 5-pack and I got to try that Sessions. And man, that's top dog with me with CAO right now. I still got some to try though, you know.
Yeah, you know something. It's very good of what Ricky did, and of course,
Oh
Ricky,
yeah.
of course, gifted you his Rick Specs, of course, the West Hamper, the hat, the lighter, and the stickers. And of course, it's hard to get stuff here in the UK. And through to different things, I should have, of course, been meeting his wife and meeting his daughter, but health issues, of course, I couldn't get down there. And it's a shame because it would have been a great time. And of course, to try the other cigars. But you know something? I definitely think with what he's done, yeah, he's done good. And he doesn't class himself as a master blender, he classes himself as a blender. I definitely say he's going into a master. And what do you say with a master blender is someone that learns someone else to blend. That's a master blender. As a normal blender, you haven't learned nobody how to blend yet. And that's why Ricky classes himself just as a blender. But in my eyes, you look at what he's done with CAO and turned CAO around. Of course, he's won an award with West Tampa for the red in Cigar Aficionado. I definitely think he's done something great. And it's a different cigar, of course. And this is the thing about smoking it, trying it. But Kurt, of course, you being the faster smoker, my brother, as we can tell straight away, what are you now getting in your cigar, my brother? Because I'm doing a little bit too much talking, and this is taking me my time to get through. So,
Yeah,
what else you going?
I'm deep into that second third. That sweetness is pretty much dissipated for me. It's more, I've got the earth up front and the cedar, and that pepper has dissipated for me. It's a white pepper, but it's starting to pick up a little bit in an intensity for me as I get towards the back half of that second third. Nothing overpowering, but like maybe I'd move it up to a 5.5 from a 5. I'm just noticing a little bit increase in intensity, but those dominant flavors for me are the earthiness, the cedar, and then that white pepper's kind of on the back end for me.
Yeah, and Grump. That's some fair ash, my brother. That's holding on. Jeez, that's a
It's
good.
holding pretty decent.
That's a good old
It's
woody.
a little
That is.
crooked right. Yeah, right there's a spot, but other than that, it's pretty decent.
Or
But
as we'd say a little chubby. You got a nice little bit of a chubby on there, my brother. Yeah.
but now
Oh, wait up. Yeah, don't be so
the
serious, my brother. Why so
yeah
serious?
yeah the wood's still there. Uh, the cedar is much more toward the front now than it was. Uh, the pepper not so much on the draw, but
Mm,
it's still on the retro pretty good. Uh, and that almondy vanilla sweet creamy thing that it has going on, uh, that's a little intermittent right now. It's kind of coming and going. It's not like a solid stay.
yeah.
But other than that, though, it's still very pleasurable, very enjoyable.
You know something? I've got to agree with both of you on what you just said with the tastes. Because that pepper has died down. That wood is there. That sweetness, there's still a little bit of sweetness. That nutty tone is still there a little bit. But you know something? The wood has taken over. The pepper's died down. And I'm looking forward, of course, getting down more into mine. And it seemed as if it, of course, increases. Like Curtis just said, is starting just to intensify. And I like that about cigars when they intensify. So what we're going to do now, of course, we're going to get more down into the cigar. Then, of course, we're going to do the cigar reveal and show you the cigar reveal. And then, of course, we'll go and tell you what we get in the third, the business end. And yeah, and then our final thoughts. So we'll be back. So of course we're back. And Cigar Kurt's now, of course, using his pick that he's got his cigar on. Because, of course, he's the quickest smoker of the bunch. He's the quickest smoker of the bunch of us. He is. But
His
Kurt,
nickname Inferno.
Inferno. There you go, Kurt. There's your new nickname, Inferno. It is. See, we could change that up on the Cigar Lanes podcast. The Inferno,
Yeah.
not the cowboy on the porch. The Inferno,
Front porch incinerator.
front porch incinerator. Anyway, Kurt, what are you getting on the cigar now, my brother? What are you getting, and what are you liking about the cigar this year? Of course, working your way down. I'm working my way down, of course, to my band. I know Grumpy's working his way down to his band.
Yeah,
I'm getting close.
Just getting into that final third. I still have that intensity did increase just a tad for me, not a lot, but I still have that cedar and that earthiness that's up front and that white pepper. So not a lot of change in flavors. It's just been a nice, really only transition I have was just that little increase in intensity. But it's just it's very smooth, and at the same time, it's kind of a robust cigar. You mentioned kind of a chewy cigar. Same type of feeling. It's just got that little bit thicker presentation to it that I enjoy.
Yeah. And Grump, what about you, my brother? As you're getting down towards your band, what are you getting?
Yeah.
Of course, with the cigar.
Getting into the band area there. The wood, like I said, wood's still there. Now there's not a whole lot of sweetness present at the time. It is still very earthy, but you still got that spicy pepper thing on the retro. Not so much on the draw right now. It's kind of tamed down to nearly nothing on the draw. But it's holding steady. I'm well pleased with it.
Yeah, and I'm pretty much matching the same as you guys. Maybe I have just managed, of course, to get my band off. So, of course, there's the band, as you can see, with the CAO, of course, with the nice bit of the new age. And I'm just trying to, of course, show you the dominoes if the dominoes stick out, but it doesn't. But you can just make them out. Just make them out slowly because of how they are in the band. But it's a nice band. You know something? That'd look nice on, of course, Kurt's pick there. And from what I gather, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 5 dominoes on the band. So it's 5 dominoes that make up the band, which I didn't notice that the very first time I smoked the cigar. But like you said, Kurt, you know something? I don't know if it's because our hands are sweating or with, of course, the band getting warm, but I've slowly got a little bit of the silver on my finger. Just slowly getting a little bit of the silver. And I think it's because of how warm it's got. So, but you know something? It's come off the cigar perfect. It's not, of course, pulled at the wrapper. It's still smoking nice. The ash is still holding on. And you know something? It's a great cigar. I'm enjoying this. And it's definitely one that I will pick up again. Definitely. And of course, we'll go over our final thoughts. But how much would you say does you'd pay for this cigar in the States if you're going to buy it? How much would you normally say this would probably range? So I'll get your take first, Kurt, and then, of course, we'll get Grumpy's take on what you think this cigar it cost?
I believe the chicken foot retails for right around $9. Box price is probably going to give you a little bit better deal. But some of these online retailers, they probably have specials with the 5-packs or a 10-pack or a sampler pack where you could get it a little bit cheaper. So, like I say, this is a good everyday smoke that the average cigar smoker would be, comfortable spending on it. And it's worth more than that. It's a good tasting cigar, and it's good quality, good construction, good burn.
Yep. What about you, Grump? Do you reckon the same on what Kurt said with the price? Or because
Yeah.
you know something on price. Let's just say about price.
All right.
Of course, with where you are, you're in the panhandle. Of course, as
Right.
people know, you're in the panhandle. So of course, your price is going to be a little bit cheaper than what Kurt's going to be paying up in, of course, the Blue Ridge Mountains for the cigar.
Right.
Now, of course, sometimes you get a little bit cheaper in your cigar lounge. Sometimes you don't. It's probably cheaper buying online. But if you were to go and buy this cigar, Grump, and wanted to get yourself a good 5-pack, which site would you normally use? Would you go and use, of course, our sponsor, Famous, or is there another retailer that you like using for, of course, grabbing different CAOs?
Uh, the what I would first, like you said, I would look at Famous first. Since we're hooked up with them, I'd go there first, and I would look either to get a 5-pack of these or a 5-pack sampler or whatever. But I agree with him on these are probably going to run you between $7 and $9 depending, because one of the places I got to go is north of me that's closer. It's in Alabama, so that's a different tax up there. So if they don't have it over here around me, then I have to go into Alabama. Then it might cost me a little different for that. But
So,
if I can't find what Famous, I'll look at Cigar Page.
yep.
And I browse Cigar Bid quite a bit. I don't win much over there, but you'll find some excellent cigars if you can snag them auction prices. I mean, I've actually you'd think you stole them for a couple of 5-packs I've got at Cigar Bid. I mean, but that's usually and I've got my favorites that I shop around because I do samplers, because I got to make my budget get the most from my budget that I can. So I want to try a lot of different stuff. So I look for samplers that only have like one or two of a cigar, but yet you've got 8 or 10 different cigars in there, but you've got maybe 2 of each or something. That's what I prefer to do with my budget. So,
Yep.
but yeah, if I
Well,
can't find what I want Famous, I've only got a couple of others I look at. So,
yep. So what we'll do, of course, we'll come back in a minute, and I'll give you the price from Famous of how much a 5-pack is, and of course, a box of the chicken foot. So stay
I'm not
tuned.
sure about.
We'll be back in a minute. We'll be back in a minute, Grump. We'll be back in a minute, my bro. So of course we're back, and of course we did say we go over the price from Famous Smoke, our sponsor. If you want to go and grab yourself a 5-pack on Famous Smoke and save yourself 20%, you can get a 5-pack for $44.99, which is a cracking saving with 20% off. Now, if you're like me and you want a box of them, of course, you can get the CAO Bones box of 20 for $179.99. Save 20% off, and it works out. It's $8.99 a cigar. So, like Kurt said, near enough $9 bang on the buck. So you can't beat that for a price, especially for these. And of course, you can get them on Famous Smoke. And if you go onto the Cigar Lounge website, you'll see, of course, our sponsor. Hit that and save yourself some money on your postage as well by checking out Famous Smoke. So, Kate, of course, we know you're coming down into that business end. So, how's the cigar now for you coming down into that business end? Did it intensify with taste, or did it just of course, carry on with how the taste is. Now you're down into
It pretty
the
much carried on. That increase in intensity I had right at the back of the second third, and it stayed steady through the final third. So not a lot of changes. I still have that earthy cedar flavors up front, and then that white pepper. The only real sweetness I had was like in the first third of the cigar, and then with that some nuttiness in there too. But in the back end, it's pretty much dominant. The earth and the cedar, which is it's a very enjoyable cedar. Like I say, it's kind of a robust, chewy smoke, which I really enjoy. So I'm just about ready to finish it up here.
Yep. Grump, what about you, my brother? What are you getting now? Of course, as you're coming down into yours.
Yeah, I'm up under the band now. So, but yeah, there's no more of that vanilla almond stuff. There hadn't been any of that in a little bit now. So I think it must have played out. But I've got to agree that for me, uh, the main things are the wood, the cedar, and the earthiness, because the pepper has died down
Yep.
very much. It's still in the retro hell, but as far as the draw, very little. Now I have noticed, like I said, I'm under the band and stuff, but I've noticed that it's a little dryness at the back of the tongue, kind of like a little leathery dryness. But it's not like it's not really enough to say that I'm getting like a full on leather from it. But it's just that
Yeah.
little dryness that it usually gives you.
Yeah.
But
You
other
know
than that,
something.
it's solid. It
You know
is.
something. With that, of course, you're mentioning the leather. There is a subtle nuance of leather. And you know something? I always say with wood, depending on what kind of wood taste, I get a bit of a dry mouth with that as well, with the wood. It's definitely
Some,
lost
yeah.
that bittiness of the almond, of course, what Kurt said, where I say, of course, the nut. That vanilla taste is gone, that sweetness. The pepper is totally gone. It's died, it's disappeared. Which I was enjoying that pepper. You know something? I was enjoying it. Don't
Yeah,
get me wrong. I'm
yeah,
enjoying the cigar. I'm absolutely loving the cigar. It's a great cigar.
it
And
is.
I can't fault construction. And you know something? I like that it's not the oily broadleaf. Because that oily broadleaf, I've dropped plenty of cigars out my hand. Because my hands are being sweaty. That's, of course, oily. Bang. And I'm like, shit. And then I've gone to it, and, of course, it's battered, it's bruised, and all the rest. But this, smoking brilliant. And I'd say, Grump, we've pretty much got near enough the same in cigar wise. And of course, I definitely say go and pick one up. Go and visit Famous Smoke. If you want to check out, of course, Ricky Rodriguez, go and find him on Instagram. You can also find West Tampa on there. And go check out CAO, because you know something, CAO will like a nice review off you. And CAO always reply back to reviews on their cigars. Nice company, nice folks at CAO. And keep your eyes
Yeah,
open, because we will be getting CEO on as a guest on the podcast. So keep your eyes open for that. And we'll be smoking more of their cigars. But Grump, general impression of this cigar? From when, of course, you originally saw the band and saw the cigar to now smoking it, what's your general impression on the cigar, my brother?
well, the band was unique, like you said. But you have to sit and look at it. Just at first glance, it'll still catch your eye because of the silver and stuff that they use, the chrome. It'll still catch your eye, but once you actually get to looking at it, you'll see how intricate it really is. Uh, as far as the cigar, like you said, the construction, you can't fault that anywhere. The draw has been excellent. Even with this V cut, it's been an excellent draw, no problems. It's felt nice in the hand the whole way through, not spongy, not soft. And it's actually kept burning pretty good. I haven't had to touch it up. I've let it do its own thing, so
Yep.
it straightened itself up good. The flavors, like you said, I'm down to that basic stuff right now, even from this point. But it is still a very pleasurable cigar. It it has amped up a little, but it's not that usual intensity that you get with a lot of other cigars when you get back here on this end. But
Yeah.
I would definitely, uh, I would definitely pick one up again.
Yep. Good. What about you? From, of course, seeing the cigar when you, of course, got it from Ricky to, of course, pulling it out and now smoking it. What's your impression on the cigar, my brother?
It's a good looking cigar. That Connecticut broadleaf Maduro wrapper on it, it's beautiful. It's something that you anticipate, wanting to smoke it just because of how that wrapper looks. The band's wonderful on it. Um,
Yeah,
and one of the questions I always do when I do my reviews by myself, the one of the always questions that I always answer is this for the new cigar smoker? And with this one, I got to say yes. It's not. It's not strong. I kind of put mine into like a flavor strength profile on a scale of 1 to 10. I would
Yep.
put this at a straight medium, right at a 5 for me, even though it kicked up a little bit on that, but not enough to raise it to a medium plus. So I'm going to say a medium. And for me, this is like the everyday man or the everyday woman that smokes a cigar. This is an everyday cigar smoker cigar. It's something you'll pick up and smoke during the week. It's not not a Circle of Life or an Encore Black. That's something I would call an event cigar. That's something special. But this, as far as an everyday cigar, this is a special cigar. It's quality. It's got good flavor. I really enjoyed it, and like as you guys know, I've really been seeking out Connecticut broadleaf this last year because I've just really fallen in love with it. So
Yeah.
very, very enjoyable.
So you near enough took out what I was going to ask next, but I'm still going to ask it. So, considering I said it was like a full-bodied cigar, would you say more medium but full-bodied in taste? What would you think on that, Kate? With what I've just said to that?
I kind of and I'm kind of different when I do my reviews. I kind of combine all of that and kind of mesh them together. So I'm still going to say, the flavor was good, but it wasn't overpowering. So I still stick with the what I originally said, a medium all the way around. For me, it definitely had enough flavor to keep me interested and to keep me, even when we're talking, I definitely was able to pick out the notes that I'm tasting and going through it. So I'm going to stick with what I originally said, just, straight up medium cigar. Uh, Excellent for a new cigar smoker.
Yep. What about you, Grump? What would you say on that? With, of course, what we just said, with
well,
maybe medium cigar, full in taste.
as
What would
as
you say?
far as the strength goes, uh, I'm with Kurt as far as about a new smoker. I don't think this would hurt somebody fairly new. I don't really think it would be a bad thing if it was the first thing somebody picked up and wanted to try. You know, provided they had an idea that they may like the darker flavors of a cigar. But the strength wise, I don't think it's going to hurt them. But now I look at it as far as the flavor part. I would consider it a little more toward the upper medium into the low full range. I kind of do a lot of people go with that strength thing, full strength, medium, mild,
Yep.
and but I do that too with the flavors because, some of these things you get a hold of, man, that flavor is just, it's off the chart and it'll hurt you, but it's not an overpowering cigar. So I kind of split mine up, but I would go more toward the full side with the flavor, but I still wouldn't get out of the medium, the medium range
Yep.
because it's not a strong cigar at all.
No. And you know something, I've got to agree with the pair of you on that. I definitely say full in taste, of course, but very medium. It's not an overpowering cigar. And we've spoken about this before on the Cigar Lounge podcast, of course, us three, of course, with Matthew and Jess, our other co-hosts. And we've always said, haven't we? It doesn't matter if it is a dark wrapper. You can't go off the fact
No.
that everyone says dark wrappers are going to hand you your arse. They're going to put you on the floor. You're going to get this off it and that off it. Because you know something? Look at this. It's a dark wrapper. If people looked at it and didn't know, of course, it was a Connecticut broadleaf, they go, oh, that's a Maduro. Oh, I'm not touching that. That's too strong. But I'd definitely say for a newer cigar smoker like you guys who've even touched on it, definitely try it because you're in for a different ride. It's a smooth cigar. It's got that wood. It's got that subtle vanilla at the start. It's got the pepper that, of course, starts off as a black pepper, riding down into a white pepper. The ash is nice. The construction of the cigar is good. The burn's good. I haven't had to correct the cigar. I haven't had to relight the cigar, which is a brilliant thing in a cigar when you get it. Now, of course, Kurt, we know you finished yours. General overall impressions of the cigar.
Like I said, it's an everyday cigar smoke. It's an excellent smoke, for the everyday cigar smoker. And as far as the strength, and I'll just sum it up like this: I'm not looking to rush off here and run into the bathroom after smoking it. So it's it's been a nice, enjoyable smoke. It hasn't overpowered me. And you know me, I'm the medium plus guy in the group, and this has been it's been right in my wheelhouse, and I've really enjoyed it. So again thank you to Ricky for sending us these cigars, and it's been it's very nice that he did that for us, and much appreciated.
Yeah, big shout out, of course, to Ricky. Big shout out. Now, Grump, of course, we know you like a cigar when you get up in the morning. Would you say you'd smoke this in the morning with your coffee? Because I know one thing, I would. I'd smoke it with my coffee in the morning when I got up.
Yeah, I would. And I would probably enjoy it. It's I would say it's a little bit a little bit heavier than what if I have them available. Let's say, I don't always have a nice light Connecticut type cigar available for that afternoon with my coffee thing. But this would be an excellent one to put in that rotation. It's a little darker, but it's in that medium profile, because I don't like my first one to be as full and heavy as I do that one after dinner.
Yep.
And that's
of course,
just
yeah, and like we said, of course, before, go on Famous Smoke, save yourself 20%. Grab the CAO Bones 5-pack of the chicken foot for $44.99. Of course, if you want to get a box of the bones, which is a box of 20, and save yourself again 20% on Famous Smoke, it's $179.99, which works out per cigar $8.99. You can't fault it. And for the price here in the UK for the chicken foot, it's £20. For, of course, the one that I've got, and I do apologise for saying the big Yui, it's the blind Yui, and it's £23 a cigar here with GQ, which, of course, is our other sponsor. And definitely go check it out. And big shout out, of course, to Ricky Rodriguez, good friend of ours with the Cigar Lounge.
Yes.
And, of course,
Definitely.
you can go and check out that podcast that we did with Ricky, which, of course, it was the three of us with Ricky. Matthew, of course, was a wedding anniversary that he had, and of course Jess was watching. And you know something, it was a good chat with Ricky. He went through, of course, working for CAO to now where he is with West Tampa, and it was a good chat. You can check that out, of course, on the Cigar Lounge YouTube. You can, of course, check this out. And if you want to hear this as an audio, of course, you can hear the audio on Spotify. Of course, you can check this out on rumble.com as well. You can go and check out our Facebook group, and you'll see this, of course, different cigar reviews in there. Meet the people in there. And if you want to come and join the Cigar Lounge Discord, go to our website, www.cigarlounge.com. You'll see Cigar Lounge Discord. Click on that banner, and it'll guide you to the group. And you get to speak to Kate, you get to speak to Grumpy, Matthew, Jess, of course, myself, which I speak a little bullshit. But you can come talk to me, of course, if you want. And you'll get to meet everyone else in the group. And you know something? We are regular cigar smokers. And we do this for you guys. We'll sit and choose a cigar. And I'm so glad you guys have enjoyed the CAO Bones as much as I've enjoyed it. And
Excellent.
thank you, my brothers, for sitting here tonight with me and smoking the CAO Bones. And what we'll do, of course, we're going to finish this off. And we'll probably go into Discord. So, of course, you can catch us in Discord any time of the day, any time of the night. And it's open to everyone. New cigar smokers, seasoned cigar smokers. If you call yourself a cigar aficionado, then, of course, a tobacconist, by all means, come in. Come and chat to us. We don't mind. We don't bite. But I'm going to play out, of course, the intro that we started with. And we'll catch you on the next Cigar Lounge podcast, which, of course, Grump, Kurt, Grump, when do we go live? What nights do we go live?
Go live.
The Cigar Lounge podcast.
We go live on YouTube on Tuesday nights, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Central. Adjust your times accordingly here in the U.S., but that equates to midnight in the UK for all of our listeners and followers over there. And we'd love to see you all on our next one, Tuesday night.
And Kurt, where else can they grab, of course, the Cigar Lounge podcast? Where else can they grab it live?
You can grab it on Rumble, which is heating up for us. We're getting a lot more followers on Rumble. And then after, if you can't catch us live, you can always catch it after it gets published. You can catch it on Spotify as well.
Yes.
And you can catch us live on Instagram as well. And then also in our Facebook group as well, Cigar Loons Facebook group.
Yeah, so like I say, you can catch us anywhere. And by all means, go and follow my brothers. You'll find Grumpy, of course, on Instagram. So you'll find him at Grumpy Preacher. Of course, if you want to go and follow Cigar Kurt, you can go and follow Cigar Kurt on Instagram. And also, if you want to go and see the craziness on TikTok, if you use TikTok, you can also find him on TikTok. You can. You find the Cigar Loons on TikTok. You can check us out. And from us, it's been a great big thank you for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this cigar review. And like I say, it's been the CAO Bones. We'll catch you, of course, on the next one. Peace out. Stay smoky. And, of course, Kurt, say your line. You know you want to say it.
All right. Smoke them if you got them. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.